guys, I want to show you how to make apple pie. We got a boatload of apples from one of our friends, so we're going to make cute little baby pies for them, and I wanted to show you some of the process. The apples have already been rinsed, and we're just going to core them and slice them. This machine is so much fun. You just pop the apple on there and then slide it closer, and when you turn it, it peels the peel off and takes the core out. And can you come over here so they can see the bowl? I like to have a bowl in the sink so that the kids can have some of the...
It's really delicious.
Some of the peels. And then, whoops, I didn't do that one far enough. And then the other stuff I will just put in a bowl for my compost. I like to have a cutting board out, and then I just slice them so they're in half like this. And if there's any that have the skin, I put it in the bowl for the kids. So you just plop them on, bring it a little bit closer. Can you see, buddy, what I'm doing? And then just turn it and leave the peels here in the bowl. Plop this off and then put the core inside, and that will go in our compost. And then I'll just cut it in half. And I already have on the stove some butter. I'm going to have the butter going. I'll turn this on. And then I just kind of stir this. I like to cook the apple pie filling before you bake it because it makes it even more thick and like caramely as it bakes in the oven. So I actually like to pre-cook the filling, and I just have it go as I'm cutting. We've got a little pile of the peels here, a very large bowl of what gets to go in the compost, and then I just have all the apples here, and I sliced a lemon, and I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of lemon juice in there, and then I have about 2 tablespoons of butter. So I just turn the stove on to low and let this cook. We have cinnamon and sugar just on hand all the time, so I just sprinkle quite a bit of cinnamon and sugar, and then my nutmeg disappeared. A little bit of nutmeg, so I just do like 3 or 4. Can you hear it bubbling? Okay, so I've got 3 cups of flour and a teaspoon of salt in here, and then you do the liquids in a separate bowl, and I do the water, so I just put it in a bowl and put it in the freezer before I start everything because it needs to be really, really cold. So this is 5 tablespoons of cold water, and then a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. And just dump that in, and then an egg counts as the liquid. So plop that in there, and then I'm gonna get a fork, and you just mix all this together. So you do the dry in one bowl, and then mix the liquid in another bowl and add it together. And this calls for 1 1/4 cup shortening, but I just guesstimate. I don't actually do it exactly right. So I scoop out from the container directly with a spatula what looks like 1 1/4 cups. Okay, so there's basically 1/4 cup of shortening there, and you just cut this into the flour so that it is nice little crumbs. Can you hear the kids playing? They're getting along with each other, which is absolutely lovely. Okay, so cut that in, and then you add the liquid in one swoop. Okay, and just mix that together. This is my friend's recipe. It's called the Never Fail Pie Crust, and it's great for pies and sweet things, and it's also really yummy for like shepherd's pie and what is the pie called that has carrots and
pot pie?
Pot pie. Yep. So it's good for savory and sweet. The trick with pie crust is you don't want to touch it too much. The warmer your hands are and the more you touch it, the less flaky it is, and the more dense. So I try not to mix it too much, but you want to get a lot of the flour in. So then I've got this pie mat. My mom actually got this for me at Apple Hill. I love it. It has a recipe for an apple tart and strawberry rhubarb pie and pizza. I've never actually made any of the recipes, but it's really fun to look at and dream about making strawberry rhubarb pie. So this is ridiculously crumbly, but I don't really care what the crust looks like because it tastes delicious. And I just try to move it as little as possible. And then I will put it together some and roll it out and put it into the cute little pie tins. So, okay, so I'm just very lightly rolling it out. It's a really crumbly batch, but it'll work. So I just pick it up and place it in the tin. These are little pans for creme brulee. But anyway, and then I'm just gonna go up the sides a little bit because I didn't make it quite big enough. But I just wanted to show it does not have to be perfect. This is the kind of thing, I don't mind that it looks a little messy because it tastes so yummy. So this is extra crumbly batch and trying to touch it as little as possible. But the other thing I wanted to show you is I like to cut out cookie cutter shapes for the top instead of doing like a lattice. So I'll cut some of these out and then I can show you what they look like on the top. So just little heart shapes to go on top instead of doing a lattice kind of thing. But okay, Connor's gonna be our taste tester. I just scooped some for him, so he's gonna try the filling and see how it is.
That's good.
Okay, and then the next thing I need to do is I like to poke the bottom of the pastry with a fork. So you just poke it with the fork all over the place. Okay, and then I sprinkle cinnamon and sugar in the bottom. It's just a little extra caramelization on the crust. So it's good filling, but I don't need to add anything or let it cook longer?
Nope.
All right.
Nom, 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 nom.
The next thing is to put the filling in then, and then put the cute little hearts on top. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys, I basically just do it so it kind of starts to boil. And there's a lot of liquid in here, but I just scoop off the apples and then we actually drink the yummy juice, like cidery stuff. And it's really good. So I'm just going to bring this over here and use a slotted spoon so that the juice will stay in the pan. And I just kind of scoop it out and scoop it in.
Wish you guys could smell this.
It does smell pretty good.
Smells amazing.
So the reason I said I like to cook it is it makes the filling just a little bit more caramely. I really like it. It obviously cooks enough on its own when you do the pie, because you usually just do the filling and put it on top of the pastry and then cook it all together. But I like to do it like this so that it's extra cooked. There you go. Okay, another trick that I like doing is cutting up butter into little bitty pieces like this and putting it directly underneath the crust. So I just cut them and kind of flop them around inside. And then I'm going to put the hearts on top of these. This just makes it bubble into the pie crust, and then it helps cook not the pie crust. It helps cook the pie filling, and then it makes the heart pastries up on top nice and cooked. Then I put all these cute little hearts on here. These are probably just going to have enough room for one little heart. So I just set them on, and then this is like the lattice on top of the pie. But I like making hearts because they're cute, And then you have little bite-sized bits of the yummy pastry. So I just spread them all over throughout the pie. Then you're supposed to brush it with milk on top. So I just use my pastry brush and just brush a little bit of milk. That means our oven is ready. A little bit of milk, and then I actually sprinkle cinnamon and sugar again. Whoops, I missed that one. Ta-da! Then we'll show you when we pop it in the oven. So then I just sprinkle a little more cinnamon and sugar on top after I brush them with the milk. And then we get to pop them in the oven. Usually with apple pie, you put foil around the edge when you bake them, but this doesn't have lattice all across the top and they're smaller, so I actually am just going to bake it like this without putting foil on top, and I'll just watch it a little bit more closely. Whoop, that was extra cinnamon. Okay, so we'll just pop this in the oven. Let's see, and this one on the bottom. Ta-da! And then you guys get to see when they're all done. Okay, we poured off the extra liquid from the apples, and Corey's going to be our guinea pig and try it. How does it taste, babe?
Dang, that's good. That's just, you're drinking fresh apple pie.
Yeah, it's yummy,
That's
huh?
excellent.
There's usually extra water in there, so then you just get to try the extra liquid, but oh, it's good. I highly recommend it, cooking it off like this. Okay, what do we get to do now, Kel?
You get to take him out.
All right. Can you get the top one very carefully? Go nice and slow. Oh, I'm going to close this so we can take a look at that. Ooh, it's nice and brown on top, so they're just a little bubbly. What do you guys think? Do they look delish? Ta-da. Okay, and Kelly, you can put the other ones up on the stove.
Okay.
See Kelly take these out. You can. So we had enough of the little hearts to do another little muffin tin, and then the one that I showed you guys how I made them. So that's how many extra hearts there were.
After I ate one.
Yeah, Connor snuck one. Ta-da! I hope you guys liked watching how we made our version of apple pie. And I wanted to show you we've got this month's extra filling. So we're going to have some that we'll put in a bowl to keep in the fridge. And then the others I'm going to put in little baggies and we'll freeze it and we can turn it into apple crisp or another apple pie or just put it with ice cream. But anyway, the tricks for this are doing a little bit of butter underneath the pastry. And then I like doing shapes because then you have a little bite and it's just a little nibble of the pastry. It's delicious like that. And cooking the filling ahead of time of baking it, it just makes it extra caramely and delicious. And then you have extra drink to drink, which is so good. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed.